Hi, welcome everybody. It's the 3rd of March today. I thought I'd just pop on and we'll do a current energy reading and see what comes up. Now, I just want to say hi, firstly, to all my subscribers out there. I love chatting to you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please go and subscribe to my channel. I've got a lot of videos around self-help as well as tons of 2022 predictions. And it's funny kind of looking back and seeing what's kind of been evolving this year because so much has been happening. So I'm just going to close my eyes and we'll just get started for the 3rd of March and see what comes through. Now I'm getting jet setting around the globe. So it's almost like finally they're opening up the little straps that they have at the airports and that, and they're allowing people to flow through now. So that's the kind of imagery they're giving me. So I feel there's getting a lot more flow around the countryside. Things are definitely opening up. They're definitely wanting to kind of get things back to more of a normal. So we're, but it's we have to be prepared because it's like a false normal. So people who are in obviously a different sort of matrix, I guess we could say, will feel that this is all getting back to normal. But for a lot of people who are awake or who are seeing things differently, we're very aware of what is going on, and this is all a bit of the trickery and part of the show, because they're trying to give people that false illusion that everything's kind of getting back to normal and you've got nothing to worry about, nothing to fear here. We're not hiding anything. Everything's all back to normal. The conspiracies, you can just ignore those because we know they're not true. And this is the kind of message that they're trying to put out, which is sort of becoming very obvious. Jacinda Ardern was yapping about New Zealand and how the conspiracy theories are starting to affect the trust in governments, and people are starting to not trust the media, and you sort of think, well, yeah. And so it's becoming obviously all around the globe. People are starting to look at things with those rose-coloured glasses off. So that is happening, but they're still trying to create this false illusion that everything's flowing, everything's getting back to normal. There's no conspiracies here. Klaus is not running the country and all the world, and we don't have leaders in every sort of cabinet and government around the world. That's the image that they're trying to portray now. So they're trying to get a lot of flow. So you'll see the mask coming off, mandates are getting dropped. That's the energy that I'm getting. They're creating the illusion of normality. Now, definitely no more hiding. Make that stand. Stand proud in who you are. No matter what's been going on with you in the last couple of years, and I think we all know how we've all been treated and what's been happening out there. Stay in your power. Head high. Walk around in society. Look, people don't know who's jabbed and who's unjabbed, or people don't know those things unless they're very close to you. So you've got to also find that it's that sort of inner strength to have confidence. So this is definitely a message, is to get back to your confident place. Do whatever you can. And they're sort of doing the old fake it till you make it. So as long as you've got that sort of good body language and you're very open and you've got your nice broad shoulders and you're not sort of sneaking around town like this, that's going to be really important moving forward, because you've got to have that confidence in the choices that you've made as well, and the decisions that you've decided to make to move yourself forward. So you've got to find that inner confidence. That's very important. Message at the moment is to find that inner confidence and that inner strength, and a lot of that can be done sort of through body language as well. I've actually got body language videos if you want to go and check some of those out. I think I've got a playlist on body language which shows you how to kind of open up more and have that more confidence. So maybe go check some of those out too. I'd love you to do that. But this is the message. Stay really confident and get out and about now. This is the time to get things moving and sort of try and create this change using our energy as well. Now I'm getting that people have been quite hysterical over the past couple of years. And this, look, to be honest, this is around a lot of older people. this is like an older generation. So I would probably say from 70 onwards, this pandemic has created a lot of hysteria in them. And it's kind of crazy, isn't it? Because they've just put a lot of focus on from the I'm going to call it the Kool-Aid because everybody calls it the Kool-Aid, so I don't have to get wiped off YouTube. The focus of was put on the elderly, and then they started to bring things back in the age groups. Obviously now in Australia here they're trying to jab children under 5, which is quite a scary thing. But these older people have been quite hysterical for a couple of years, and now they're having to sort of, it's like they're almost having to navigate a new life again. So this is becoming very overwhelming for a lot of the elderly, and I think they can't kind of get their head around it. So you'll find a lot of them will tend to stick still in their home and be very isolated as well. So you're going to find they're not going to connect with a lot of people. So it's probably something to kind of be aware of coming out of these pandemics. That's if we are coming out of it. Sorry, I always get exhausted energy. If we are coming out of it, because I think in March there might be another trickle of variant. You never know what can pop up sometimes when we're just thinking everything's normal. So look out for that. I do get that vibration sometimes around March, maybe in mid to end of March. But these people, if you have got elderly people living around you, maybe just touch base with them and just give them a little bit of reassurance that you're there if they need you. That's definitely a message I'm getting, because this digital age, and they don't have the phones to contact people, and they just get overwhelmed by computers. And I think that's, to be honest, as they were a very targeted group, that we need to also ensure that they sort of get not propped back up, but made to feel some sort of, I guess, make the fear subside is probably what I'm trying to say. Because when you've been in that hypervigilant state, it's fairly unhealthy to stay there like permanently. So they need just that little bit of reassurance. So look out for your neighbours, or look out for anyone old, even if it's your relatives, your nans and pops. People living in aged care obviously have been very isolated. So that's an area that we need to focus on moving forward as well, is just to make sure that, you know, they know that we've got their back, that we're sort of like, oh, I'm here for you if you need, just sing out, you know, maybe, you know, put their bins out, find little ways of sort of contacting them and just giving that little bit of reassurance. I know it sounds really simple, but, you know, these are the things that help each other to sort of feel better after such a ridiculous and, I don't even know, crazy experience. So look out for the elderly, because they've been very damaged during the past 2 years, and I think we all know that. So a little bit of kindness goes a long way. Now they're showing me that the highways are getting busier again. There's a lot more traffic flow. That there's just more of that commuting to the cities. People are on the move again. But again, it's that sort of chain of command. They're saying that you're only told you can go back to work now because we've said you can go back to work now. You don't have to work from home. But if we say you have to work from home again, you've got to work from home. So that's why they're showing me this chain of command. So there's all these people rolling back into the cities to work, and they're giving out, you know, all the vouchers and things to bring people back to the cities to have coffees and meals and restaurant vouchers. But I must say, a lot of people only get rewarded with vouchers if they're jabbed. That's particular here in Australia. I get shocked all the time. My girlfriends tell me they got a meal for this place and a meal. They get a free meal here because they got jabbed. And I'm like, what? So there's a big reward system going on in the background, which is not really healthy when it comes to getting back to normal. So this is already being set up, and I think we can all see that. Anyone who's awake out there can see that these reward systems have already been implemented, and this is going to continue, despite that everyone's kind of getting back to work, and they can also stop that at any time. So that's why they always keep using that reward system, because they know how to coerce and get people back doing what they want them to do. Basically, it's like, you do this, you get that. You do this, you get that. So for those ones that aren't cooperating and complying, you don't get the rewards. So basically, I think we know where the future's heading if we don't stand up and fight for our freedoms. That's definitely something I'm getting, is that the reward system's already in place. And this is, again, getting back to the credit scoring and how the credit system's going to work. You won't be able to do this unless you've done that. So that's our future heading forward if we don't sort of really stand up and face these battles now. That's why it's so important that we do. And I can feel that people are already being charged a mozza. I think we all know that at the petrol bowser and the fuel prices that have gone up. Prices of everything. This is everything. And this is how they gain that control, because they're almost pricing people out. If you think of small businesses and things like that, it's going to become impossible for small business really to survive in the economy that they want us to moving forward, because they're not going to be able to afford the freight, they're not going to be able to afford the stock, they're not going to be able to afford to pay the rent, because as we know, I don't know about where you guys are living, but here in Australia, rent is like crazy through the roof. So this is kind of the way they start to get that control too, that, and that's why there's this extreme. There's the elites up here and the wealthy, and then all the middle class is now going down into that lower class as well, and that's becoming one big society now, like one level of society where the middle class and the lower income are sort of, that's what they want. They want us to all be grouped over here. So I feel like the finances is definitely something that's going to start to, I've said it before, really move in March. I believe that'll be the end of March, and there's going to be just a lot of this just inflation. Everything's going up, but wages aren't going up, so people are going to sort of find that gap's going to become too big, and there's going to be a lot of the mortgage stress, different things like that. And that's why a lot of people as well jump ship with hospitality and the restaurant industries and these kind of things, because people needed that security of the job to make their payments. So this is where it's created a lot of these gaps in the employment, because people just can't get staff. I know here in Australia it's a huge problem. I actually heard that at the hospital where they mandated the nurses and they left, they've actually asked some of the unjabbed nurses to come back because they're so desperate in these regional areas. And I'm sure that's happening around the globe. They're having to drop some of these mandates and get some people back because they realised that, wow, that wasn't going to work, and that didn't push people to do it anyway. They just dug their heels in more. So I think that's been a lesson too in the agenda they were trying to roll out, that a lot of people fought back against that, which is a really good thing. Because then it put, for example, here it put pressure on the nurses, and the other day they were all striking because they're working too many shifts and too many hours, but they just sacked a whole heap of nurses. So, you know, surely you would think people would wake up and see that logic that, well, if you're going to sack people, the other nurses are going to be overworked and they're not going to cope. So there's just, as we know, there's just no logic in any of this. I'll just see what else comes through. Whew, people are tired, they're exhausted. It's saying if you're tired, just go take a nap, chill out, watch half an hour of a show. There's nothing wrong, and you don't have to feel guilty about resting and taking care of yourself. Sometimes our body just gets so depleted in our thinking mind that it can make our body really tired as well. So they're saying that it's very important that you have that little rest day, go to a movie, chill out, like I said, just spend time with your kids. Just do the things that are going to slow you down. And it's also showing me like holding each other's hands as well. So it's kind of like that, propping each other up as well. If you can see someone around you is looking exhausted and tired or needing a chat, go and have a coffee with them, sit down and escape life for a while. Like, do some simple things. And that's the message coming through today. Just if you feel exhausted, just slow down, because I think we can see in the last 2 weeks in a lot of my readings, I get a lot of that tired, yawning, exhausted energy, because this is really taking a toll on a lot of people around everywhere. I mean, I can't even imagine in Canada and Germany and some of these places where you've had really, really tight restrictions and just insurmountable things to kind of climb, to do with passes and QR codes and testing. And like, honestly, it's been a really excuse the French, but a batshit crazy year so far. So anyway, hopefully that helps you today, the 3rd of March. Keep going. Like I said, go check out my body language videos if you want to sort of learn how to open up and keep that chest and focus on your breathing. I've got some on meditation that might help you too. And hit the like buttons, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you in the next video. Bye from Australia. See ya.